I'm often asked at poetry readings, at poetry workshops, poetry being primarily what I practice. And the question is, what is a good poem? And the answer really is, if the poem is a form of verbal design or verbal choreography, what is design? And is beauty implicit in that notion? If so, what is beauty?
Whether it's a machine or an ant or a grasshopper or a human being or clothes, whatever, or a building, if it fits and flows with least amount of friction, if one who has the eyes to observe, it always seems very beautiful. I don't know how many people notice this. Right from my childhood, I spent a lot of time paying attention to every kind of insect and I found insects are the most fabulously designed creatures on the planet. And every kind, if you look at them, in terms of color, in terms of geometry, in terms of variety of activity that they can do, they're so fabulously designed. So, when I say you're beautiful, don't think I'm saying you're an insect. That's not what I meant. I'm saying different creatures, we have 2 legs, somebody else has 4 legs, somebody else has 6, 8, 12, whatever number. But the beauty of nature and evolution is the design has been perfected. I think most people have not paid attention. They think beauty means it must be sunrise, sunset at the most. Small things are very beautifully made because with least amount of friction, they've learned to function. If you look at… if you look at the activity, if you measure the activity, let's say of an insect, how much activity an insect is performing, for how many calories that he consumes. Obviously, he's geometrically perfect, least amount of friction. So, anything that's well made always excited me, whether it's a machine or a building or an insect or an animal or a human being. If you're talking about humans being beautiful, if you look at somebody, when they're joyful, everybody is beautiful. Whatever the shape of the nose or the chin, when you see them in a joyful condition, they're always beautiful. But the best, whatever is considered the best shape of the nose or the chin, when they're in bad states, they don't look beautiful anymore. So, if you are in an exuberant state of life, you will look beautiful, in the face, I mean. To keep the body beautiful takes little work. A lot of people are trying to take the shape of the planet. No, I'm not saying in an insulting way, I'm saying… when you look at the world, particularly when I travel outside the country, India, also in India, not so in rural India, if you go to urban India, when I was growing up in school, there were only 2 fat kids, only 2. And we always thought, they were like stood out because all of us were scrawny, because there was so much activity and so many things to do. But today you see children getting off a school bus, almost 40–50% are like this. Maybe it's part of the evolution that they're trying to become like the planet. So, isn't a round person beautiful? See, that way if you look at it, it's the way you look at it. You can look at anything as beautiful. If you are in a certain state, everything looks beautiful, that's different. But I think we're talking about physical, mechanical beauty. That mainly means geometrically there is some perfection where things operate with least amount of friction. Suddenly, the very way a person walks is beautiful because there is not lumbering around. That goes for a human being or an animal or a machine or everything. That geometrically things have fallen into place. In fact, the entire universe is just happening because of geometric perfection. Well, the dome is standing because of geometric perfection, not because of the strength of the material. All the buildings we designed here, we always saw how it can be geometrically perfect so that the material that we use is very little because our problem is always budget. People say such a large building with these kind of beams, it'll collapse. It will not, because geometrically it's been thought through. So, evolutionary process has always looked at geometry. The cosmos itself is perfection of geometry. Why is the planet sticking to its pathway? Is because it's achieved some kind of geometric perfection. If it goes slightly off, it cannot come back again. This is not just true with this planet, it's true with the entire universe. So, in my mind, it's always been like this. If I look at a tree, if I look at a cloud, if I look at a man or a woman or anything, for me, it's always the geometry of things. First thing is, I see their geometry from head to toe. Afterwards, all the other things. Because geometrically, it should be right. Only then it will stay. Otherwise, its very life is reduced. Life of a building or an animal or a creature or anything, any form in the existence, if it doesn't find some kind of geometric harmony, then it will go before its time. The entire yogic system is just that, to align your body to the cosmic geometry, so that if you sit here for 2 days, it's still no issue because you have understood the geometry of the body.
Inner beauty? Yes. If you have the right kind of eyes, everything is absolutely beautiful.
There's no relative thing in this.
Relative thing is a social factor, again, it's a training, it's… depends on what kind of data has gone into your mind. But if you're in a certain state of joy and you look at anything, everything is beautiful. When you're unhappy, only certain things are beautiful, certain things are ugly. When you're very happy, you look at anything, everything looks absolutely beautiful. See, there are many ways to look at this. One simple way is, right now you may be identified with many things, starting from your physical body to your mind, to your education, to your religion, to your society, to various things that you hold in your life. But when you simply sit here, if you simply sit with me right now, you're just a piece of life, isn't it? A certain amount of life energy, that's all you are, isn't it so? Identified with many, many things, but fundamentally you're just a certain amount of life energy. So this life energy which you call as myself at this moment, this life energy sometimes has been very joyful. Has it been? Has it been? Please say yes, otherwise it's tragedy. Sometimes it's been utterly miserable, sometimes very peaceful, sometimes turmoil, sometimes agony, sometimes ecstasy. This has happened to this, isn't it? So this life energy which you call as myself is capable of all these things. So if this life energy is capable of all these things, if you were given a choice, what kind of expression your life energy should find right now in this moment, what would you choose, agony or ecstasy? Definitely ecstasy. So if there was a conscious choice about how to keep your life energies right now, definitely you would have kept yourself absolutely joyful and ecstatic. Only because a large part of you is happening unconsciously, other things which you do not want are happening within you. What you do not want is happening in the world, you cannot stop it 100%. Only to some extent we manage these things. But within you, you are the only ingredient. In the world, there are a million things. See, if we want to create a situation the way we want it, we need the cooperation of 100 people around us. All of them will never cooperate 100%. They will all play the game that way, isn't it? In any given situation. Even if you're just two people in the family, you cannot have the situation 100% the way you want it. Yes or no? This is the reality with the outside. But with the inside, you are the only reality. Nobody in the world happens your way. At least this one person must happen your way, isn't it? But right now, even this person is not happening your way. That's why you're asking what is the way to joy. Your mind is not happening the way you want it, your body is not happening the way you want it, your emotion is not happening the way you want it, nor your life energies are happening the way you want it. We need to do something about it, isn't it? If all these four are happening the way you want them, you would definitely be joyful every moment of your life, isn't it? Irrespective of what's happening around you. So we need to explore the technology. Because it's a subjective technology. Because the ingredient is you, it's about you. Unless we create a certain atmosphere of commitment and focus to look beyond certain things that you're identified with right now, it will not be possible to explore this. The reason why the spiritual sciences, especially in this country, which was so rich in the mystical traditions, has become so ridiculous is people try to do it anywhere and everywhere without necessary committed atmosphere.